In this video, we're going to go through items in on-premise enterprise for ThunderPOS for Windows. This video isn't really meant for people who are single stores or people who are using our cloud product, although you can certainly watch it if you're curious. It's more meant for people who are considering doing local databases but have multiple stores they're wanting to manage. So this is the product for that situation. And of course, you can select between cloud enterprise and on-premise enterprise, and there are some advantages and disadvantages to each. This particular video is going to be focused on items, on creating and updating items, and on things around it. So if we go and we look at our virtual machine here, this is just a single computer that's got our corp server, our store server, and corporate. So you will notice that we have corporate up here and corp server. They can be on different machines, of course, but for this purpose, we are just going to do that here. So there's a few things I want to point out here. Number one, there is a new item defaults. These defaults are specifically for items that you are creating through Corp client. So anything created at a store level is going to be done using the new item defaults on that computer. But this is if you create them here. So for creating a new item, you can do that at any location or through Corp client. If you're at the location and you don't want employees to be able to create new items, you can block that using employee permissions there, but there's not a way to completely turn it off if somebody is an administrator locally. However, for updating items, for changing pricing or the name or description of an existing item, that is a chain level option. You can either only allow that through corporate, or you can allow it to happen at every store. That's controlled under options as allow updating items at store level. As you can see right now, that's turned on. We'll go through it with that on, and then I will show you what it looks like if they can't do that. So first we're going to go into items here. We're just going to create one. As you can see, so when we talk about items being managed here, it's not just items, but also departments and categories that are locked by that option. Departments and categories, however, can only ever be created through the central location. So the store can never create a new department or a new category. You have to add those through Corp Client because those are kind of the organizational backbone of your store and your chain. So you must do that here. So, we can add that just, a test department here. And category is very similar. So if we add that at the and then if we add a new item, we'll just do a sample item. And you'll notice we're not setting any pricing or anything. So we're just gonna right now I have it set to manually sync. So if we then go into ThunderPOS here and we go to store and then items and we refresh this, we will see the new item, the sample item here. So because we have on the option to update it, we can edit here and you can see we can change all of the fields other than the item ID, of course. So if we, set a description and we set a price and we set a stock level, all of that can get set. It's completely fine. And then we close it out and we take a look up at corporate. And you can see that the changes have come through here at corporate. Now, if we turn off that option to allow the updating of items, and we go back in here, first we'll have to sync it. And we go into the ThunderPOS and we try to edit that item again. So we'll just have to start up Thunder here. and we try and edit that item once more, because we have set it to not allow updating, the only things we can update here are kind of store specific things. Like we can still change stock levels and everything based on local permission, same with costs, because those can be different at each location. But we cannot change, for example, the price or, item ID 2 or 3 or many other fields here. Um, so any changes we make would not be things that would be, modifying things at other stores. They would just update it here. So if we then go out and we add a new item, you'll notice number one, it asks for the item ID. It's doing that and it requires you to enter the item ID so that it can check if that item already exists at corporate, because sending new items out to the stores is optional. If it's off, then you may have items that exist at corporate that don't exist at the store level. So it will make sure that, and if we had a 955 item, it would pull that in. But since we don't, it's going to ask me to create one. So then if we go into our store server here, we sync everything up and we go to corporate. We can see the new item we just added here. Another feature that is very useful to know about, it's only going to have the stock from this store right now, but if you go to more and then management and then stock check enterprise while an item is highlighted, it will give you the stock levels for each store in your chain. The description here is something you can actually set through the stores section of corporate. And so you can like indicate what store it is so that your cashier can call over if they're referring somebody or wanting to transfer a quantity over. So this is kind of the quickest way to see if you expect to have an item in stock at another store. Depending on how tight your inventory is managed, you may want to still like call in and check and make sure that's accurate. But that it's going to reflect what your system says you have in stock, if nothing else. So then the other thing we can do here in the local only mode, you can add an item, and when you're adding it, you check the box that says it is local only. That indicates that it will only ever be available in this store and it won't be sent to central. Sometimes stores want to use that for things that are specifically like a t-shirt that's about the city that the item is in or whatever. So that is a way you can do items that would not be controlled centrally. For similar reasons, rental copies are always local only. They are not, available in every store because they're just available where they're rentable. So a couple of other things to note about items. If you have that send new feature on, it will automatically be sent out as mentioned. So that's just under options here. And that's what we have on now. If you turn that off, that just means as you add items, they will be added to the central database, but they won't be sent to any store other than the one they're added at. Or if you add them through central, they won't be automatically added at any store. That can be useful for keeping the database a little bit smaller at the local level if you've got products that would only be available in specific stores, if your overlap for products is not 100% or even particularly high, and you're worried about making it more difficult to search. The other thing to note here is that you can choose to not manage vendors centrally. If you're doing that, then vendors would be treated as a local field and you can set them at each specific store rather than setting them chain wide. Again, that's the sort of thing where if you have different suppliers for your different stores because of their physical locations, that might be useful to you. The vast majority of users do leave that on. Other than that, that's pretty much the basics of items in the on-premise enterprise. Please let us know if you have any questions or problems with it.